Well, we are here at KCAC Media Days as we have just wrapped up for both the men's and women's, and joining us is McPherson College women's basketball coach Josh Nichols. You kept things short and sweet today. I think you looked good up there, though.
Oh, I always look good.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Your second time going through KCAC Media Day and being able to be around this group, and it was relatively the same group that you've been around the last couple of years, a couple of different coaching changes, but how did you enjoy your day here in Wichita?
I enjoy it at the same time. I'd rather be back on campus with my kids, getting ready for practice. And, we're in the weight room at 4 o'clock today. That's what I'm trying to get back for. That group is more important than this group, unfortunately.
Man, that's mean of you to say that about Steve and I.
Well, no, you guys are great.
Oh, the rest of them, you don't care about the rest.
We are great.
So I'm glad that you included us with that. Well, for you, Coach Nichols, what are some of the differences that you've seen with your group in terms of the summer preparation and everything leading up to, including the fall, from year one to year two, and some things that you've done differently getting into your second season?
Obviously, with year two, we have some returners. Within what I do. Last year, while I brought some kids with me, it was still a new environment from them. They were trying to fill the campus out really too, so they didn't have a whole lot of time to take those leadership roles. This year, with 8 returners coming back, basically, the leadership is a lot better than we had last year, and that culture build happens within. And I'm not the only voice, yelling at them all the time. We have 8 returners that are keeping everyone accountable as well.
As far as recruiting goes, you recruited for need. What do you feel like you've upgraded from last year for this team?
Shooting. We just, like I said earlier, we shot the ball so poorly last year that we had to get better from the three-point line. The way the college game is going, that's where it's at, and we just shot the ball so bad last year from behind the arc. We had to improve on that first and foremost.
Well, one thing I've looked at with your team, whether it was at Bulldog Madness and seeing some of your very good dance moves that night, but you have some really good players down in the post, and in particular when you return a player like Danny Holt, and you have some players that inside can be as strong as you have been. I feel like that gives you a really good chance with the way this league is set up and being able to score inside.
Yeah, you have to be, it's important that the three-point line is, you have to be inside-outside. You have to have that inside attack, and Brittany does a good job. Haley Hurst is good, a sophomore. She was a backup last year. She's done a great job so far in the preseason, and over the summer she got a ton better. So we feel really fortunate to have solid players on the inside, and then that hopefully we can collapse things and give us even wide open shots on the three-point line.
You mentioned Brittany Roberts. She comes back. I believe she averaged a double-double last year. She's going to start the season as one of the premier post players in the KCAC.
I would hope so. I was a little disappointed, and she was on an honorable mention last year. I thought she deserved better than that, and so she's taken that to heart.
Well, especially when she was the focal point almost of every.
Absolutely.
When a team would go into playing you guys, the first thing was we have to stop her from crashing the boards and scoring down low.
Absolutely, especially as bad as we shot from the three-point line, everyone could collapse in on her and still be able to put up, a double-double each and every night. It was very impressive.
And one of the keys for you guys last year is how well you finished, because you got off to a slow start in conference play, and let's face it, you get going early, and being in your first year, it's a whole new rush when you get going on November 30th or whenever it is. But your month of February, you guys were really, really good, and if you could have had 3 months of February to follow that and keep things rolling, then this would have been a team that's in the top 8 and hunting for a chance to be in the KCAC postseason tournament. How have you guys been working and trying to keep that momentum going and starting off hot here in KCAC play?
Well, just like you talked about how we finished off. I mean, we talked a lot about that's where we need to start from. Last year was a little bit, it was almost like having 3 seasons. We started off the year and had the first 10 games, and then we had our leading scorer, Slim White, go down with a career-ending injury, basically. And it took us a while to kind of figure out how to play without her. I mean, she was the most athletic player, could go create a lot on her own, and now we don't have that, so we're trying to figure it all out. And then last 10 games, we kind of figured it out and played really well down the stretch, and so that's where we're at. We don't have that to figure out right now. We're just trying to figure all the pieces in place right this minute. And like I said, with improved shooting and then all the returns we have back, I think we're going to jump off to a good start.
And a trademark of your team down the stretch last year was your defense. You play kind of a scramble type defense, and to do that, you've got to play a lot of kids because you play so hard. They can only go 3-4 minutes at a time. It's not like they can play 17, 18 minutes. Is that kind of going to be the philosophy again this year?
Yeah. we have to get to there first. So we're in the baby steps mode of getting to that scramble type defense. Right now, we're just trying to learn some rotations, things of that nature. We've implemented a few times here and there, and especially the returning group. I can throw a returning group out there and tell them go sick them, and they know what I'm talking about, and they can figure that out pretty well. But getting the whole team on board with it, it'll take a little bit more time, and throughout the season, we'll add more and more to our pressures.
Well, you guys are getting closer and closer to the start of the season, which starts on October 25th, going down to Oklahoma Wesleyan, and then you guys will be back for your McPherson Classic, which will be the first week of November. Where are you hoping this team will be after those first couple of weekends in non-conference play and getting ready for KCAC play to begin?
Well, hopefully we're undefeated. I mean, that's the goal, is to win the games. But our second game of the year down in Bartlesville, we're going to play a national qualifier in Bellevue University. They're going to be really tough, and they're going to be long, athletic, shoot the three well. So that's going to be a good test early on for us. So if we could pull that one off, it'd be great, and I'd feel really good about where we're at. But if we don't win that game, how do we perform? What did it look like? We'll go back and watch the film and see how that transpired, and figure out if we're on the right track or not. That'll be the big test for us, I think, in the non-con.
Well, Coach Nichols, thanks for all your time today. You saved all the good answers for us.
Yeah.
We can't let all those other media guys know the secrets.
No.
It's just for Steve and I.
That's right.
And if you guys want any kind of dance lessons, just let me know, and we'll get on.
I'd be worried about pulling a hammy.
Steve needs to know the salsa, and I've heard you're a great salsa.
I have trouble with my hammy, so I think I'll have to back off.
All right. Thank you.
Well, we continue here from KCAC Media Day as the Bulldogs on the men's side. We are joined by head coach TJ Eskildson, his first season as the head coach. How did you enjoy your first run through the circus of being the head coach and having to answer questions here at Media Day?
Yeah, I thought it went well. Like I said out there, it was different for me because I've been coming to this now for 10 years as an assistant, and being up there with a lot of those coaches that I've been with and known for the past 10 years was a good experience. It's always interesting hearing what other people have coming in, and this year's a lot different than other years because there were a lot of seniors last year in the league. So, but overall I thought it was a good experience. It went well.
As you mentioned, there was a lot of seniors in the league. Jordan Murdoch is out now at Friends. Cameron Hunt at Southwestern. I've been coming to this for almost 40 years, and never can I remember struggling so much to fill out my ballot. The teams that were really, really good were hit hard by graduation. Yeah. Some of the teams in the middle have a lot of guys back, and then the teams at the bottom are trying to get better. Yeah. I know filling out your ballot had to be kind of difficult.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, you listen to what the coaches were saying up there, and you look at their rosters, and I think there are a lot of really talented players that are going to be in the league this year. They're just not guys that have been here for 3 and 4 years. Obviously there have been Oklahoma Wesleyan, Southwestern. Those are two programs that have traditionally in the last 5-6 years been really, really good, and I think that they're going to be good again. But as one of the coaches said when they come up, I think there are maybe 10, 11, 12 teams that could win the conference if you get on the hot stretch. And it's really, I don't think I don't know if the ballot at the beginning of the year this year is going to look the same as the way it ends. So.
Impressions of your team so far? You've had a couple of weeks now of preseason. You had an alumni game the other night. What's been your impressions? What have you liked the most, and what do you feel like you need to get better at?
Yeah, I think our guys are playing really hard. We've had some really competitive practices this year. We've only had a couple practices where I really felt like we weren't very good, didn't have a whole lot of energy, and I was impressed with the fact that we responded and had good practices after that. I feel like we've got seniors this year that can be good leaders for us. I think that the thing, basketball-wise, I think that we need to get better at is defending. In the alumni game, it was like 103 to 97. There wasn't a whole lot of defense being played in that game. So that's something that we're going to have to get better on the defensive end. I do think we can. I think we have the ability to have guys who can shoot it and who can score a little bit. But just trying to figure out how to stop people, I think, is going to be our biggest thing right now.
And kind of an X factor for you guys, Dorian Page. He's kind of been injured off and on in his first 2 years. When he's been on the floor, you've won a lot more than you've lost.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think you were like 6-3 when he went down 1 year.
Yep, and that's Dorian's, knock on wood, so far this year has stayed healthy, and he's a huge part of what we're doing. I mean, he just gives us a different level of physicality on the floor from that point guard position. And he also brings a leadership quality about him that's huge. I feel like we've got a lot of depth at that position. Josh Rivers got some great experience last year as a starting point guard. I feel like he's taken that next step this year too and matured quite a bit. So that point guard position, I feel pretty confident that we have guys who are capable of playing that position. But Dorian staying healthy this year would be huge for our group.
What kind of style do you want to play offensively this year? Because this is a team that is more guard-oriented. You don't have that big 6'10" enforcer inside.
Yeah.
What kind of style do you want to see this team play, and is it much different than what it's been the last few years?
Yeah, so we're really looking to push the pace. We're trying to get up and down the floor. We're trying to create some offense with our defense. We're pressuring more in the full court defensively. Kind of in the alumni game, we created some offense, getting steals, and we're looking to shoot a lot more threes than we did last year. In the alumni game, we made 17 threes. There were a lot of games last year we didn't even attempt 17 threes. So that's something that's really kind of going to be different for our guys, and I think they're embracing that. But like you said, we don't have a 6'8" guy in the middle. So we need to be able to, as a team, rebound the ball and then get out and run and see if we can score in transition.
How have you thought that some of your newcomers, whether they are freshmen coming in or they are some of the transfers that you've brought in, how do you think they have adjusted to your style here in the first couple of weeks of practice?
They've been good. I think anytime there's something new, especially for our new, everything's new for them. So day to day, they could have good days, could have bad, but their attitudes have been great, and they're willing to pick stuff up and they're willing to learn. And I go back to our returners have been great in terms of they've been around me. Things are different for them too, but they've been around me for 3, 4, 2 years, and that they kind of know what to expect, and they've done a good job of also helping those new guys kind of get through what I'm asking to do and kind of help them with that stuff.
Yeah, I saw a few more coaches on the women's side that have been new in the last few years, and not just new to programs, but new to the conference, and they haven't been around this style where you're a guy that has been around. You've been around all these players. You probably recruited almost all of them. Has that given you a pretty big advantage with these guys and the guys that you still have in your locker room?
Yeah, I think it has, because like a lot of the guys that are on our roster, a majority of them are guys that I was very heavily involved in recruiting, and I think that just having that relationship with them to begin with, I think is really big, and I think it gives me the leeway to coach them hard, and I feel like there's a good amount of respect there, and it's just the relationship has changed a little bit for me going to the assistant to head coach, but having that relationship already has been big. I think that helps with the buy-in and all that.
Well, as you guys get the season going, the women will start a little bit earlier, and then you guys have a couple of home games. I know you've got your classic against Barkley and Bacone. I think there's a game with Manhattan Christian that's in there earlier in that week. Yeah. I asked Coach Nichols, same thing. Where do you hope this team is after these first couple of weeks and first couple of games, getting ready for the grind of the KCAC?
I just hope that from game to game, we're improving. I want to go from the first game we played Manhattan Christian, I want to be better in the second game. And that's really, I think that getting in, and then we get into that grind of the conference season, I think you just got to take one game at a time and hope that you're continually improving, and respect everybody you play, but give them your best shot and be competitive.
Well, I thought you did a great job today, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Going through your first media day, you stepped up there in a suit. A couple of those other guys weren't even wearing suits. You were the one that came ready to go today.
There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.